Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and good Friday to you, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz here, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Brett and Scott here with you for your lunch hour. Scott Hardy, good to see you, brother.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, too.
A good Friday out here, and weather's decent. So looking forward to a good show here. Got everybody tuning in on Facebook and YouTube and Charter Spectrum 701 throughout the state of Alabama. We appreciate all of you that watch every day and contribute to the show. That's how we decide. That's how we design this show, is for all of you to contribute, and we want you to either call or comment on Facebook Live, and a lot of you do that. Scott, a lot has transpired since you were on here last. Auburn with big news this week of Janai Broome coming back. So I'll get your thoughts on that here in just a second. We'll have Jason Caldwell on a little after 12:30 to be part of the program, as he is every Friday. We'll hit Jason up for a lot of information there on recruiting. Auburn looking at several players in the transfer portal. I was just on Gary Harris's show in Tuscaloosa about an hour ago, and that's what we talked about. And talked a little bit about the baseball and softball program. Auburn hosting Kentucky in softball starting tonight. Huge series for them because, Auburn softball is in position. With these last three series, if they win all three of those series, they can be at least 500 in SEC play. If they could get a sweep, they could possibly be over 500. So Auburn baseball, it is what it is. They got to go to Starkville. They will be starting tonight. Mississippi State, not much better, but they have, I think they're 7-8 on the season. So they're looking at this Auburn series as a must-win for them to propel them up there to kind of solidify, a regional or keep them on pace. If they were to lose a home series to this Auburn team, would probably be devastating for Mississippi State. So they got a lot of pressure. Auburn's got a lot of pressure to try to turn the rest of the year around. They got 5 series left. If they were to somehow win 2 games in each one of them, I'd give them 10 wins and put them at 12 wins. It wouldn't be 500, but it'd be a lot better than where they're sitting right now. They put themselves in a situation where it's almost perfect baseball at this point to even have a chance to get to the SEC tournament. But don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll go back through the roster. I want your thoughts on the roster for Auburn next year as far as basketball is concerned. That was another thing that Gary asked me on the show just a minute ago about how this Auburn roster, and he thinks Auburn has and will have the most veteran, maybe most talented roster in the whole SEC next year. There'll be some younger players coming in, but you look at Arkansas, Scott, they're building from scratch. Kentucky building from scratch. It looks like Nate Oates is going to have to pretty much assemble a new team again. Not sure about Tennessee, but, Auburn has been able to keep the nucleus and the main scorers on a team that led them to an SEC tournament championship this past year.
Absolutely. I think the return of Janai Broome is just like getting an All-American, or a McDonald's All-American or a blue-chip recruit.
Even
him
better.
coming back. Yeah, I mean,
better because of the experience.
This is consecutive years where Auburn and Bruce Pearl have a roster that's pretty much similar to the year before, and that's when you look at during that stretch run when Auburn was really playing 19-20 during that was what made that team so good, was that you had returning guys. And so where other teams are looking at filling positions in the portal or trying to recruit new guys in, Auburn has a nucleus there and have let some guys go that I don't think really will have much impact in terms of the trajectory of the team. But I think Janai Broome comes back and he's the front runner, obviously, for Player of the Year in the conference, and could be somebody who's playing for College Player of the Year. So, I think that him coming back is tremendous and a great think, show of what this team can do. I think that was part of it too, knowing that coming back he'll have an opportunity to A, increase his draft stock, and then 2, be in a position to maybe lead Auburn to a further tournament run.
You know, one of the things we talked about yesterday, and it was at the end of the show, so we'll kind of drag it on into today, is Bruce Pearl in his conversations with his players. And I think he's, you know, one of the things Randy asked is, why do you think Auburn's able to do what they're able to do every year? And I told him I think it's honesty. I think it's Bruce Pearl just sitting down with every player saying, look, I used KD as an example yesterday. I can see him sitting down going, KD, I love you. We got a similar personality. You know, you gave a lot to Auburn. You graduated now. You're part of this. You know, you're forever Auburn guy. But I feel like with 1 year left of eligibility, I got to be honest with you. And, you know, your role was this year, and it'll probably stay that and maybe even lessen depending on who we bring in. And I just think you need to know that. And I think that's why he has such a good rapport and relationship with all his players, even the ones that decide to leave, because he's like, I want you to go have an opportunity to play 25, 30 minutes a game and not only 9 to 10. And I think that KD can appreciate that. And he says, look, we'll appreciate it, Coach. I'll go shop elsewhere. And he's supposed to announce any time now, KD Johnson, where he's going to go. That will happen today here in any minute probably. So, but I think it's that, Scott. I think it's the genuineness of and then Randy kind of used an analogy of bringing back Dylan, saying, you know, Janai comes back, he'll maybe go to more of the 4. Your minutes are going to go up more. We need you. You've improved the last 3 years. You can be a force inside. You can be our big guy. I just think that goes a long way, because you don't want to feed a player full of junk and have them have expectations of something you never anticipated or never intended to happen. And you could say, he could have said to KD, yeah, man, I think we're going to be able to get you back up to 15, 20 minutes a game, blah, blah, blah. And then when the season rolls around, he's getting 4. You know, what do you have? You got a disgruntled guy on the bench, and then you got a guy that feels like he was, you know, kind of defrauded a little bit. So I think that's where it goes. I'm not saying that's not what everybody else does, every other coach does.
I mean, these players talk too. So
right.
When somebody asks your opinion of Bruce Pearl or the Auburn program, you can say, you know what, they gave me a great opportunity to further my skill set, and when the time came for me to make a decision, or for them to make a decision together with me, thought it may be the best. But I can't say anything negative about Coach Pearl. And you're right, the rapport he has with his players, I know a lot of coaches have that, but it seems just a little different in how he deals with them, and that honesty and transparency goes a long way, especially with parents too, when your future prospects are seeing, okay, that's how what we're dealing with when we're dealing with somebody like him. So I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about, and I'm sure you may have discussed it, but what happens, or is there any concern that Aiden Holloway goes to Alabama?
Well, exactly what I was about to segue into as I was pulling it up. I mean, you know, more power to him. You know, I mean, again, this was what I talked about on the show in Tuscaloosa back about an hour and a half ago. You know, I think the kid is a good player. I don't know why he was, you know, went into a slump, didn't seem to figure out a way to get out of it. It was more frustration on his end. Bruce he put him out there, kept putting him in the lineup, you know, translated into a starter there toward the end, even though he was struggling, you know, shooting the basketball. But we heard rumblings about midseason, things weren't working out, and he was maybe a little frustrated. I don't know what all goes on behind the scenes, but, you know, his shot was just a little off, and the ball would rim out. And it was like, man, he's just this close to scoring 15, 18 points a game, but instead he's scoring 4. And so Bruce tried to make him – it's not like he relegated him to the bench halfway through the season and never gave him another shot. So sometimes it's just, hey, I need to go try something different. Maybe I need to go get a different you know, environment or whatever. I'm just speculating. All this is speculation. You know, I think you look at it, it's always weird when you have a player go to your rival, vice versa. You know, when you get a guy that, you know, Auburn had Corey Grant come in football and leave from Alabama and come back to Auburn and, you know, had a great career at Auburn. I mean, Aiden Holloway's got all the potential in the world. Scott, there's no part of me that doesn't think he can't turn it around. But, and I think you just got to accept that. I think, and I hope that Coach Pearl and the staff had a parting conversation with him. But the word we got was when he got back to campus from Spokane, nobody had even talked to him or seen him. So Trey, I think, wanted to come back. I just think that the way things aligned and what he wanted and his wishes and his family maybe wasn't what Auburn was willing to do. And, you can't give everybody the world. You gotta know your role, and you got to know kind of where you fit into the puzzle. And I think he wanted a bigger piece, and Auburn wasn't really – again, kudos to Bruce for not fibbing and not saying, hey, look, we think you can play, half the game or more. I think Trey's a good player. I just think with the opportunities going in the portal out there, can you go find somebody similar or maybe better? You can. Yeah. So, but I don't know, Aiden. What's your thoughts on Aiden?
I mean, I would, of the two between he and Trey Donaldson, I would have preferred to have had Trey Donaldson back. I think Aiden's ceiling is higher, but Trey kind of showed that when he fits Bruce's scheme, and it kind of started playing pretty well toward the end. But, I don't have an issue. My only thing is there's been some concern or speculation or talk on the message boards about our ability to develop players. If he goes to Alabama and does well, is that an indictment on Bruce, or just that it just didn't work out?
He coached two of the best three-point shooters in SEC history, in Lofton and Bryce Brown.
I'm sure.
Bryce Brown wasn't a highly recruited guy. I think that's just banter on a message board somewhere. That's why I don't read. I mean, to be honest with you, because everybody's got their own opinions and all that. And he's a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore. Should he get better? Absolutely, he should. So I don't know that that's an indictment on anybody. I mean, would he have stayed at Auburn? Why can't he develop here? This program's been one of the winningest in the SEC the last 6 years, as much or more than anybody. He's got more hardware than most any other program in the SEC. So, I don't know. Everybody kind of formulates their own opinions on that kind of stuff. So, up against our first break of the show. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com. RussellDoIt.com.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Let's get serious. Let's get Arctic Air serious. You want your car and truck to live longer, don't you? Well, it's about maintenance. Same thing with Arctic Air. You see the number at the bottom of the screen? Call them right now. Let me tell you something. You want to be comfortable? We all want to be comfortable.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. Now available with up to $13,000 off. Purchase the roomy GMC Terrain SLT discounted up to $97.50 off. And the GMC Acadia AT4 all-wheel drive discounted up to $8,000 off. Enjoy no payments till the end of summer at Glenn Smith GMC. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Go back to the phone line, or actually go to the phone line for the first time, the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. Welcome in, Terry. What's up, Terry?
Good afternoon, guys. How y'all doing?
Man, we're good. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. Hey, we're having some audio issues here, so if you touch on it, I apologize. But has there been any portal news on football in today?
Nothing breaking as far as just I'm gonna go over some of the players that Auburn's really looking at and some of the guys that might be in this weekend.
And as far as the basketball, now Brett, you know I've took a lot of heat on this, and I don't really give a rip what people say. You know me well enough to know that. Janai Broome coming back is huge, but is that not to me? Okay, Auburn's problem has been inconsistency at guard, and that's been the problem. Janai Broome is a stalemate. He averaged 15-8 all year long. Nobody could stop it. But Auburn's guard plays continuously digs them in a hole. The lack of size, the lack of consistency as a whole. That's not my opinion, guys. That's a cold, hard fact.
I agree with you, Terry. I mean, I think you've heard me say that over the last 2 or 3 years. I do feel really good going into the season about Auburn's guard play and the potential. I think Denver Jones really became the player we thought he could become the last half of the season. I think he's going to build on that. I think he's going to be a great shooter. We need that. I also thought that, and I know Chaney's not a guard, but Chaney became a lot better jump shooter as well, got comfortable. Tahad coming in to be –
a lot more than he did.
That's right. Tahad coming in, I think is going to be really good. He's not going to have to play the point, so he's going to be a 2-guard to go along with that, so I think that's going to really help. But J.P. Pegues is going to be huge, being able to come in a veteran to lead the point for Auburn. I think he's got all the tools that you're looking for as a 2-time conference player over there at Furman. And so the guard play, looking at it from a standpoint of last year to this year and maybe even previous years, really has the potential to be pretty good. So you keep all these other pieces with them. This is a very talented Auburn team that'll be back.
I don't know. We heard about Aiden Holloway as 5-star, 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 and I'm of the opinion all the 5-star ranking, we get down to the legitimate, that was somebody's opinion. Now he was the best shooter in the country. I heard people say he came from Carolina. So last time I checked, they played pretty good basketball in North Carolina.
They did, and I think he was highly touted. I mean, everybody wanted Aiden Holloway, so he chose Auburn. I think he had a pretty good NIL deal with Auburn, and it just didn't work out. Now, again, he was a freshman. I think you got to learn sometimes. Hey, they issued the rankings for a reason. He had a lot of potential. It just did not come to fruition last year. We saw glimpses, but there's several things he had to work on, and I think the size and the strength and maybe the physicalness of this league really kind of took him back a little bit. So we'll see where he moves on to. I mean, it's rumored he's going to end up at Alabama, but we'll see.
Yeah, Yeah, but I just don't put much into the freshman stock anymore because we live in such a one-and-done society now. Guys are going to the NBA. I don't put much stock. The guys are ready to play. It's ruined college basketball, quite honestly. So we'll see. You're right, we will see. But I think he fits more what Oates tries to do at Alabama. It pains me to say that. I don't like it, but I think he does fit that style.
Well, I'll tell you what he's got to get better at doing, and he'll have to do this at Alabama. He's going to have to do what Mark Sears did, and that's be able to take his defender to the basket, and that's what he could not do at Auburn. He could not get off of a defender, even off of a pick. He didn't have the step to get around his defender, and he constantly out there dribbling and around the three-point line and could never find a lane to get there. And so his problem right out of the gate was trying to create space for him to get a shot or to get around his defender to get inside to where he could either lay it up or dish it out to somebody. He could not ever get over the hump with that. So if he's going to play at Alabama or anywhere, he's going to have to get better at that.
He's got to quit worrying about being on Sports Center at night.
Yeah, I mean, you know, AAU basketball is different than playing at the college level, and
he wasn't the best defender either. Just being honest.
Nah,
I mean, and it's no knock because if he was coming back, you know, I'd be all on board with it. But if we're talking about Alabama's style, I mean, Bruce is big on defense too. But I mean, I don't think that it's just
Alabama just started playing defense when they got to the tournament. They hadn't played defense all year. I mean, let's be honest. They were scoring a lot of points, but they were giving up a bunch. And that's what Nate Oates even said. He said, look, you know, we ain't going to go very far if we don't figure it out. And they did. Credit them. Getting their doors blown off twice in a week by Florida, you know, basically you kind of come back or giving up a lot of points. And then you go back and you go, man, we got a chance to turn this thing around, but we got to play defense. It isn't the offense, and they did. And that's what helped them make the run. The defense against North Carolina, the defense against Clemson, you know, the decent defense they played against UConn that gave them a chance in that game. That was why Alabama made the run. And you're right. So I don't know. I'm not sure he's a good fit at Alabama. I don't know where he's a good fit. He's got to do better at the things you got to have out of a point guard. Scott, the first thing, forget the defense. You know, point guards, you can kind of sacrifice a little bit of defense if you got somebody that can really distribute the basketball on the offensive side and give you 10 to 12 points a game, right? You ain't got to be a 20-point-a-game guy, but you need to have 6, 7, 8 assists a game. You need to be able to score 10 or 12. You need to be a contributor. And so you can slack a little bit on defense. Right now, his stat line every night was 2 points, 1 assist, and a turnover in 12 to 14 minutes. It's I'm not joking about it. I mean, it's really kind of it is comical when you think about it. But you look down every night, and it's like, well, what did Aiden Holloway do? 2 points, sometimes 0, sometimes 6. Then he had a Georgia game on the road where he scored, 25 or maybe 15. I can't remember. But, you know, had a good game, hit a bunch of threes. I think he hit 3 or 4 threes outside, kind of really got him going in that game. But it wasn't because Bruce Pearl stuck him on the bench and didn't give him a chance. He kept giving Aiden Holloway shot after shot after shot to get on the floor and really kind of take control because he didn't want Denver playing point. You know, he wanted Denver out there at the 2, but he had no choice but to go with Denver at the point guard position because he wasn't getting any production out of Aiden Holloway. So, all right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Berner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters. Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your boat or vehicle to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your vehicle the right way. Located at 702 McCarty Road in Dayville, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328 for Superior Automotive and Boat Detailing.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Registration for the 41st Alabama State Games is now open at allagames.com. Join us as we return to Birmingham for an exciting 3 days of Olympic-styled action, June 7th through 9th. There are 24 sports offered and $40,000 in scholarships up for grabs. The Alabama State Games brings a mix of individual and team sports for all ages and abilities, so everyone can go for the gold. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Registration and event info can be found at allagames.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through our program today, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. It is Friday, and the specials at Pepper Tree Steak and Wine. The Friday special is always burger and wing special. So, man, if you're heading home after 2 o'clock, it's a Friday, you want to kick back, why not just go by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine in Montgomery or in Auburn and pick you up some wings and burgers? Let me tell you something. They have the best burgers you'll ever put in your mouth. Seriously. So let them do it all for you down at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. They're coming out here next Friday, Scott.
and they better bring a bunch of food because I can tell you, I told Kathy, I said, if you're going to take a picture of it, you better snap when you bring it in here because it won't be much to take a picture of after you set it down on the table in there. So, but looking forward to it. Got some comments coming in, and Justin just hit on something that I was just about to say as I read it. The breaking news out of the NCAA. The 2-minute warning and helmet communication is officially approved during the 24 season. I mean, Michigan's probably like, what? Well, we already doing it. So what's everybody else been doing? So, but anyway, they're gonna that's gonna be a change. We'll get your thoughts on that. Since coaches can't make the shots, had plenty of good 3-point opportunities. We're talking about Aiden and good playing time. Through his struggles, I don't remember, maybe 5 drives to the basket. That was my whole point, Justin. I just could not get around his defender. And to me, that's what Jared – look, everybody wants to say, well, he's small and all that. Jared Harper was small. But Jared Harper, when he needed to drive, man, he's like, everybody get out of the way, give me the ball. And he had the step.
That's probably when he was at his best.
There's no doubt. So he could get to the rim. He struggled. Aiden Holloway struggled with that for sure. Mike just comes in and said, I just wish the NCAA would go away. I think all of us would like to see that. We're having some issues on cable. And so, Lyles, appreciate you saying it. I had some people say something to me yesterday. So I don't know what's going on with Charter. We got to get it fixed. So because I've got a lot of you trying to watch on 701, it ain't working. So he's saying he can't even hear us, and I think Terry said he was having some audio problems, which sucks for everybody. So we'll try to look into that. Thank you, Lyles. Appreciate you, all of you, tune us in on YouTube or Facebook, and that can solve a little bit of that problem until we can figure it out if you have that. So most of you, even if you don't have Facebook out there, you can find us on YouTube. Go to Sports Blitz and pull it up. Set your like us on there, subscribe, and then set the little bell. Click the bell. That way it'll go off and it'll pop it up and prompt you every time we go live. Most of you know we're live 5 days a week right now at noon, but you might be out doing something. You look down on your phone, and then you see it pop up, and it reminds you. So appreciate it, Lyles. Thank you that. But again, going back to that, the rule change, 2-minute warning. I mean, we're just drifting closer to being another NFL.
That's basically what my thoughts were, is that it's become, as NIL has increased and the money is starting to shift more and more from less amateur to more of a professional setting. And although they are college athletes, the majority of these guys, not majority, a lot of these guys will go on to play in some professional capacity. But 2-minute warning, I'm okay with that.
Changes the game.
It does. Now that's
another timeout, dude. And it's
think
strategy.
About some of these games now where that could have been very beneficial to some people. The headset, like you said, it's probably has happened in some other places prior to. But I like that enhancement. I think it gives a little more.
Well, the chess game gets a lot harder because, you walk up the line of scrimmage and now up until, I don't know, I'm sure it's like 12 or 15 seconds.
I think after 15 it cuts off.
For Michigan, it won't. I mean, you keep running the play and you can say, hey, man, he's open on the left side. But, I mean, up until that time, you better, from a defensive standpoint, from a defensive coordinator standpoint, you can't really tip your hand. But the craftiness and maybe trying to show a look to get the offense to make a move and then you get out of it and change. I think all that's going to change it up a lot, man. So you got to be a little bit more cunning on that side of the ball. And then, of course, offense as well. You can't just get in a formation and allow, based off of a false defensive look. It's really a chess match at that point.
So is this for defensive player, like a defensive player could have it?
No. I'm talking about offense.
But, I mean, so it's just for the quarterback that has the –
I guess. I need to read the full description.
Because I know this hadn't been too long.
Well, they just released this. It just came out. So
for the NFL where they'd have, like, usually be your middle linebacker.
Well, yeah, they're one guy on each side of the ball.
Yeah, okay.
So I would think it would be the same. But anyway, it's still a chess
That's
match.
what I'm saying. I think that makes it even.
Right. So, but again, when the communication shuts off, then, you're down to the last few seconds before the play clock. And how does that affect teams you're trying to get to the line of scrimmage and run a hurry up? That has a lot to do too. I mean, you're not really worried about the communication breaking down if you're running to the line of scrimmage trying to hurry, like I think a lot of teams want to do now, especially Lane Kiffin. He wants to run as much, very similar to what Auburn's wanted to do in the past. Hugh Freeze likes to go fast, but it's more of a slight up tempo than it is a real hurry up, no huddle type offense. So it's going to change it. And then so 2-minute warning, big addition to college football, and then the helmet communication. Coach talking directly to that quarterback, that middle linebacker, trying to help them get everything lined up within a certain amount of time. So up against another break. Stay tuned. Jason Caldwell coming up next.
"76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community."
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years, and now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection, and a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's. Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years, and now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection, and a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Let's go to the Mortgage Pro Eric McKinley hotline and welcome in our good friend Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover here on this Friday. Good to hear from you, Jason.
Guys, how are y'all?
Man, we're great. We'll just dive right in with you here. Biggest news we've talked about the last couple of days was getting Janai Broome back on this basketball team.
Yeah, no, it's and I think we've been kind of expecting it. Everything we had heard was, hey, leaning towards that. They feel pretty good, and you had not seen Auburn be very aggressive in the portal in terms of going after big men. And so I think Bruce Pearl and his staff have been very strategic in going about their business. They knew they were going to go get a guard. It didn't matter if Aiden Holloway and Trey Donaldson both stayed. They knew they had to go get another guard anyway, and that was going to happen. And it forced a couple other guys to leave. But I think they also knew, look, we're not going to find a better situation than we got now. Let's see if we can get those guys back. And Dylan Cardwell comes back, and now Janai Broome announces he's coming back, and I believe you'll see Auburn try to play those guys at the same time, really for the first time in their careers. We've seen it a couple of minutes here or there, but Broome is a 4 in professional basketball, wherever that winds up being. He's not going to be a center. He can step out and shoot. He can do some things. I think you work on that even more, knowing that you could have a double low post presence and do some. I think he gives you some options there, but this is a roster now that's taken shape and is in pretty good shape when you think about, Chaney Johnson coming back at that power forward spot, Chad Baker-Mazzara, Denver Jones. You add J.P. Pegues at point guard. You're bringing in Todd Pettiford and Ja'Kai Howard. You get Chris Moore back. We'll see. I think that's probably what will happen. And all of a sudden you're looking to go, hey, you need a couple more pieces. But you've got, in all honesty, you've got probably the nucleus of 8 guys. And we saw UConn win a national championship with about the same depth. And so I think better players and more minutes for those guys. It might not show up as much in the regular season, but I think we've seen in the postseason, especially in the NCAA tournament, that shorter bench and riding those guys is probably the way to success.
No doubt. And I think that was the biggest piece to the puzzle was Janai Broome. Of course, we knew we had to go out and do better at the guard position. And I think the coaching staff's doing a great job there. And, of course, Denver really stepped it up. And then you add Tahad coming in. So the guard situation looks pretty doggone good. But getting Chad Baker-Mazzara and Janai Broome now back is 2 keys. And, of course, Dylan Cardwell, don't want to undersell him. That's just massive there for this basketball team all the way around. All right, so Auburn has lost KD, Trey, and Aiden. Just the speculation there on Aiden going to Alabama. Jason, just kind of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you look at a guy that's his game. He wants to shoot threes. I think you go to a place who they pretty much give you free reign to do that in that system in Alabama. I think for him, if you start talking about fit, I think it's probably a pretty good fit. Now, obviously, he's got to improve. He's got to get stronger. Those are things that you had expectations for no matter where he is. But I think you look at that, and does it impact? I mean, we've seen Mark Sears announce that, hey, he's probably going to go. I don't know that you can have both of those with the guys that are bringing in already. I wonder if it's either or. Hey, either or those spots. I think Aiden's going to have a landing spot at some place because he's a talented kid, and he can shoot it. But I think obviously the more you shoot it, the better at it you get. And I think for him, it probably looks like a pretty good fit for a place where you can go and shoot 30, 35 of them a game. But we'll see what happens. Expected to take a visit this weekend, and but I honestly believe it hinges on. I know Mark Sears has announced he's going pro, but he's not hiring an agent, all that stuff yet. I think it may hinge more on what happens there first.
Yeah, no doubt. We got Jason Caldwell with us from Auburn Undercover. Let's shift over and talk football. Me and Scott were just talking about the recent announcement from the NCAA on the helmet communication and the 2-minute warning. Just your thoughts on that, Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. The 2-minute warning, I think, is ridiculous. And I don't understand why. The 2-minute warning was originally designed because players didn't know how much time was on the clock, and you need to give them an idea of, hey, this quarter's almost over with. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now we know to the 10th of a second how long a game is. We don't need a 2-minute warning. I think it's another opportunity to give somebody a timeout in a world where they're trying to shorten games. It doesn't make any sense to me. We know why, because it gives them another chance to have a commercial. And so I think it's ridiculous. Helmet communication I'm fine with. I think for them, they think it's an effort to speed up the game, but the game's already the game itself, when the game's played, is already pretty fast. It's the timeouts and the reviews that slow the game down nowadays. So I don't think it's going to have a huge impact in the grand scheme of things, other than and I've seen this firsthand in baseball. Other than when it goes out and you have to go swap out an earpiece for a catcher and a pitcher, and it takes a few minutes. Imagine what that's going to look like from a football standpoint, because that helmet is not the same size as that other guy's helmet. And it's when you do 32 teams, it's one thing. To do 150 teams and have that communication going on and do it, I think there's going to be some hiccups, and I just hope it doesn't become a huge distraction.
Jason, both Auburn baseball and softball underway this weekend, and obviously Auburn baseball isn't having the type of year that we would have hoped for coming into the season, but Mississippi State, a team that has started to get a little better these last two or three series. What are your thoughts on this weekend series for baseball and the remainder of the season, and maybe a little insight too into Auburn softball as they'll take on Kentucky?
Yeah, I think it's the kind of different scenarios. The first thing I think is both of them, they're rosters that when everything doesn't fall perfectly, it becomes a challenge. And I think we've seen that when it's going well, they can go compete with anybody. The issue is that even then, you're not going to run away and hide. It's going to be hard. I was just thinking about it, and it's even in the greatest scenario, it's going to be hard to envision an Auburn baseball team winning 20 SEC games just because of the challenge in this league. So right there, you start going, okay. Like last year, you start off 5-10, you have as good a second half as an Auburn baseball team's ever had to get to 17 wins. So that's a great season. But it doesn't get you a national seed, and you go, you are hosting and doing some things, and so you go, what's the scenario? How do you get to this point? How do you get to the next level? And it's going to be really difficult. The first thing for baseball is pitching. They got to get some consistency back on the mound. That's been the issue really for the last couple of seasons. You had the run in 2022 where it came together. Last year, Tommy Vail really saved them on the mound. This year you had Jose Gonzalez, who's come back but hasn't been that guy. Chase Austin hasn't developed, and some of these young guys. So I think you got to find consistency on the mound, and softball is you got to find some offense at the plate. And so I think it's two different scenarios, but the same coin for baseball and softball, in that there's just not a lot of room for error, and all it takes is a couple of things going wrong to derail things pretty quickly. And combine that with the schedule that both play, and it ain't gonna get any easier with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. So it means you gotta figure out. I think roster. We talked about shortening the basketball roster. I think the same thing in baseball and softball. I think you got to go heavier, probably the NIL that you have, heavier at the top, and hope those things work out to kind of carry you.
Jason, one more thing real quick. Some visitors coming in this weekend in football. Just kind of an update on the transfer portal for Auburn in football, and then kind of who Auburn's looking at maybe filling some holes in that roster.
Yep. Obviously, Penn State wide receiver transfer coming in this weekend. A veteran guy. I think for Auburn, the questions of Coy Moore and Jay Fair, Camden Brown, brought in a couple of transfers. You got a really talented newcomer group. But, can you bridge the gap a little bit to the young guys? I think that's the goal there. Defensive line, interior defensive line, Philip Leedy visited recently. I think Auburn's in a good spot there. I think they'll try to take at least two guys interior and probably a pass rush guy. And so I think those are the spots you look at. Portal hasn't been overwhelmed like a lot of people thought it would be. Still some quality guys, but I think if you're Auburn, you're looking for the right guy and the right fit. And I think right now, those are the few guys that stand out.
Jason, good stuff as always, brother. Really appreciate you being with us every Friday, and have a good weekend. We'll catch up with you next week, okay?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much. Best in the business there. Jason Caldwell covering Auburn from A to Z in every sport. So always glad to have him on Fridays. Up against our last break of the show. One final segment coming up right after this.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Catch a ride, not a buzz.
Hey, can you come get me?
Being buzzed still counts. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment here on the program. Again, thanks to Jason Caldwell for being part of the program every Friday. I always look forward to it. Thanks to Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores with 9 locations here in Central Alabama for being a longtime partner with us here on the Auburn Blitz. And, of course, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation for your residential or your commercial projects. They can take care of you, so make sure you call on them. And then Central Alabama Community College with 4 locations in Central Alabama. If you're going to get a 2-year degree and go to work, or if you're going to transfer to 4-year college, they have the path for you at Central Alabama Community College. Can't think of 4 better or 3 better corporate partners to have there. And also shout out to all of our other sponsors throughout the show. Man, just getting so much positive feedback from all of you. Just a wonderful thing to see all of you having great success out there. Coming down the stretch here, Scott, on the show, just kind of wrapping up. I thought Jason brought up a good point about the 2-minute warning. It really that's an antiquated rule. But we all know why the NCAA saw an opportunity for the big networks to get another commercial.
Oh yeah, that's what it is, and so that's always been it. Money's the answer. What's the question? And there it was. But I don't have a issue with it. It really, I do think that built-in timeout does matter. Especially late in games, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Auburn going to be playing in the Maui Invitational this year. Loaded field: UConn, North Carolina, Dayton, Michigan State, Iowa State, all in that field along with Auburn. But this team, they're going to be taking out there maybe one of the most veteran teams of all of those. UConn losing several big-time players. Of course, they're 2-time defending national champs. That'll be a great team to match up with. You don't know who you're going to play yet, but you got North Carolina, who is a blue blood, who we've had great success with playing. So, you got Iowa State, who's been a very solid opponent in the Big 12 and the last several years, and Dayton's always got a good program. Michigan State, you got Tom Izzo coming in. That'll be one of the first things. It won't be right out of the gate, but the week of November the 25th through the 27th out in Maui, Auburn for the second time. Is that not a crazy?
That's what I was about to say. Like, it doesn't matter to me anymore. Like, I'm going to ride this basketball train out until the wheels fall off.
I don't think the wheels not.
And I don't think they are.
Once you get here, I don't think. Yeah, it all depends on your coach and leader. But Scott,
if you'd have told me 10 years ago, even that Auburn would be where they are now from a basketball standpoint, and that would probably be your most high-profile sport in the department, I would have, shaken my head at you. But I think that this is just another reflection of where we are as a program and the type of basketball team that Bruce Pearl has built.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Coach Harris is doing a great job on the women's side too, man. Look at the recruiting that's coming in. They improved.
They had such a strong finish
massively this past year, man. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with next year, Scott. I really do. I think that's going to be good. Going back to football real quick, Penn State wide receiver Keandre Lambert-Smith, you heard Jason talk about him just briefly. They're in this weekend for a visit. This past year had 53 receptions for 673 yards. The best year he's had since he's been at Penn State. I think he's the number 13 player in the portal. It's like he said, like Jason said, the portal not overwhelmed with players right now, not like everybody thought. So there's some quality players like this kid here. Auburn, I think, could add to the wide receiver room to give some veteran leadership. This is going to be a deep, talented wide receiver room. It's going to be very young, though. And you're going to be trying to learn on the fly. And, Cam Coleman, Bryce Kane in right now, but Malcolm Simmons and Perry Thompson will add into that. All of them are as talented as we've ever had, but you can't just throw them out there in a couple months and expect them to just, be catching 8, 9, 10 passes a game. So adding a kid like Lambert-Smith in there could be huge. Now, he's being sought after by a lot, Texas A&M, Texas, other big schools. So, but could add them to the wide receiver room to go with a couple of those veterans we already have could help a lot.
Definitely. Looking forward to it, getting some of this new blood in on the Plains.
Let's go to wrap it up here for the Friday edition of the Auburn Blitz. We hope all of you have a great weekend out there. We'll be back with you Monday for another edition at the same time in the same place. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.